I wish I
Hey,
could do
Heather.
that. Hey, Mike, how are you today?
Good in yourself?
Doing good, thank you. How have you been? What's new with you?
Not too much new in the last week. Haven't been anywhere far away. Continue my mountain climbing and rappelling, and
Ooh,
hoping to run the Vegas half marathon at the end of this month. And
wow. Are you preparing for that?
yeah, in fact, I just ran about 8 miles today, and I ran 11 miles on Monday.
Like,
But I need
it's
to
no
get up
big
to
deal.
13.1.
Like, I could run 8 miles or 10 miles like in a heartbeat. No problem. I'd be half a mile. I'd be like, are we done yet? I can't keep doing this. So, do we have any trivia today to ask the audience?
I have some Super Bowl trivia per the
Ooh.
request of Gilmer.
Oh, cool. Oh, I love him. He's so cool.
Yes,
Awesome.
I
And
think
I go ahead.
I'm going to say that, G, there's an opening for the president of my fan club if you're interested.
What happened? Is he leaving?
No, well, there used to be another one, but she died. And then there
Oh.
was there's been a vacancy for a long time.
Hmm.
So pretty much the position is open to anyone who wants it.
So, while we're talking about that, if you guys are watching, if you guys are listening, if you have any questions for Michael, please put them in the chat and we will get to them as soon as we can. I have some trivia also to add to your trivia.
All
So, I
right.
got some Chinese Lunar New Year trivia. So, looking forward to asking you that. And before we get started, as we wait for everyone to put in their questions, remember, put in your question. What new mountains have you climbed? Have you gotten any new playing cards saying that you climbed a new mountain?
Yep. So I am up to 41 cards now. In fact, here they are. Um,
Holy
but
cow.
since the last show, I've done three big ones.
Okay,
I've
let's.
done Pine Creek Peak.
Mhm.
This one is a very long one. It takes about probably 8 hours to do, but it's very steep and exposed, so there's a lot of excitement to it. I've also done White Pinnacle Peak. This one is not so long in terms of distance, but it's very exposed, including that little pointy thing you see right there. That one is a lot of fun. I had done that one before, but it was not with this club, so I didn't get a card. And what was the other one? The other one was so I did Holiday Peak. Where's that card? Yeah, that's the Jack. So this was a really difficult one. It involved a lot of ropes. It necessitated a lot of upper body strength. That one, I think that one probably might be the most dangerous of the peaks I've done so far.
Oh, wow. Were you
So
scared?
not really, not really. No, I enjoyed it. I'd be happy to do it again.
Now,
Of the three I
just
just mentioned, I like White Pinnacle the best.
just to clarify for people, you jump off of mountains for fun and it's called rappelling.
Yep, yep. And I teach people to do it too.
Oh, cool. I didn't know you were a teacher as well.
Yep, I've taught a lot of people to rappel, and if you're interested in taking one of my classes, you can join the 52 Peak Club, and I offer them there. And I also offer
Fantastic.
them informally to friends. So
Oh, cool.
um, if you feel we're on that kind of a basis, let me know if you're ever in Vegas.
Right on. So if you guys are interested, you want Mike to teach you, send him an email.
Yep.
Okay. So should we start off with trivia, some football trivia?
Why don't we start out with the Chinese New Year
Ooh,
and check the comments because I'm pretty knowledgeable about Chinese New Year too. So give
okay.
me a chance as well.
So here's the first trivia question for the Chinese New Year. What percentage of people in the world on Earth celebrate in some way or form the Chinese New Year? So if you guys know the answer, put it in the chat. Michael, if you know the answer, put it in the private chat, and I will let you
Okay.
know.
I'm going to kind of just make a guess here, and I hope that
Okay.
I'm closest. I'm probably not exactly right.
You're pretty close. You're off by 5%.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so if you guys know, put it in the chat. And while we are waiting, we are going to ask a question from one of the viewers.
Okay.
And our first question is Pompeo, who says, "Hi, when I play Baccarat, they don't let me use the phone. Why?"
Well, Heather, you're the dealer, so I'll let you take that one.
Okay. So the casino does not want you to use the phone because it is an anti-cheating measure that protects the honesty and integrity of the game. There are several apps on your phone that can help you cheat, whether you're on blackjack, roulette, or baccarat. So in order to keep people from using those cheating devices, they ask you not to use your phone while on the table.
I think that's not the only reason. I also think it's just really rude to make a call at a gaming table with other people there. So I think that might be another reason they don't allow it.
Yeah, but people do rude stuff on the tables all the time.
That's true, but that doesn't mean it should be allowed. So I support casinos that don't allow talking on cell phones at the table. And if I get an important call at the table, I will finish the hand that I'm in, and then I will step away and take the call. That, I think, is the proper etiquette.
Very cool. And yeah, and you do really have to be careful about etiquette on the tables, because if you do the wrong thing, especially on blackjack, oh my God, everyone will be so mad at you.
I have a whole page on my site about gambling etiquette and a page in the first edition of my book about it.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Geomir, if you're watching this, if you could do me a favor and put those links in the description below when we are done with this, that would be freaking awesome. Appreciate it. Okay, so the answer, let's see, we have a couple answers. One person said 63%. Vince says 20%. Mike, did you want to tell people what your guess was?
Mine was 30.
30%. So the answer to that trivia question is, drum roll please, 25%. It's 1/4 of the world's population celebrates this holiday in some form or fashion.
Did you say 33 or 35?
25.
25%. So me and Vince are equally far apart.
Close. Yeah, you guys are so close.
So I'll share the point with you, Vince. And I would put an asterisk on that to say that there's a lot of the Asian countries that celebrate the Lunar New Year about this time, but say in Thailand, they're not going to call it Chinese New Year. They're probably just going to call it the Thai New Year or just the New Year, something like that.
I thought it was Lunar New Year for all of it.
Yeah, it's all based on the lunar calendar. But if I were to ask that question, I'm not sure exactly how I would phrase it, but I would want to include non-Chinese countries that are on that same calendar and celebrate at the same time.
Okay, can you name some of those countries?
I would probably say Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, maybe Bhutan, Bangladesh, and who am I forgetting? Maybe even Malaysia, Indonesia.
Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, South Korea. You said Malaysia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you said everything else.
Okay, so There we go. Enough about that one.
Okay, so what is our football trivia?
Okay, so this is Super Bowl trivia.
Super Bowl.
Okay, let me ask you this. This is not so much a Super Bowl question, but an NFL /football question in general. Okay, what would happen if a team kicked the ball for the point after the touchdown, it got blocked, and the defensive team got possession of the ball after it was blocked in their own end zone, and then got tackled and the ball fell out after the tackle, what would happen?
Okay, so if you guys know that answer, put it in the chat. And here, I thought you were going to ask a question about Tom Brady.
He's going to be, shall we say, coming up in the trivia if we get far enough along.
Okay, cool.
It's hard to ask some Super Bowl trivia questions without him coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Our next question from one of the viewers is from PJ Strong, who says a local casino allows non-negotiable chips to be played on any bet on the craps table. These are dead chips, meaning you get to keep them if you win. How would you bet?
I would bet them on either the pass or the don't pass, just because they have a low house advantage. And if you're allowed to bet them on the odds, like let's say you had a lot of them, I would bet them in the same way you should be betting craps in the first place, just making the low house advantage bets. Now, let's say, for example, though, it was a use once and lose it, then I would be saying make a long shot bet. Then it would be an interesting question, because normally you want to go for a long shot if it's a use once promotional chip, but the house advantage on the long shot bets and craps is quite high. But no, I would. I think I would still do something like bet on a hard hop, like a total of 2 or 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right without doing the math.
Okay, sounds good. Now, the non-negotiable chips that you get to keep if you win, those are really good for players and not so good for casinos. I've read books about different promotions that casinos have, and I believe one of them was saying that that's one of the better promotions for players.
Yeah, I have stuff on my website about how to play both the use till you lose promotional chips. I call those non-negotiable chips, and the use once chips. But the ones that are used till you lose are worth almost face value, like they're worth about 98% of face value.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let us see if anyone has any answers to your trivia. Is it 2 points? It's a safety?
No, but good guess though.
That was a really
I will say that it is a safety, but it's
Okay.
not worth 2 points. Hint, hint, hint.
And then our next one is any fumble results in who gets Pip.
Hi, Pip.
Sorry.
Pay no attention to that dog behind the curtain.
Seriously. She had to be involved. She's over here giving me. Vince says any fumble results in who gets the ball within the boundary.
It's not what I was looking for. I was looking for what kind of score would that be?
Okay. And it looks like those are the only 2 answers we have for that trivia question.
Okay. So the answer is that it would be a safety, but if the safety occurs in the same play as a point after the touchdown or a 2-point conversion attempt, then it is the rare 1-point safety. It has never happened in the NFL, but it has happened a few times in college football.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yes, it is possible to get 1 point in a way other than the point after the touchdown.
Okay.
So I have asked diehard football fanatics, and they don't know about this arcane rule.
So we're starting off the trivia pretty hard then.
Yeah. So before you ask me the next question, let me take a question, the only question from the Wizard of Vegas forum, which was, what is my prediction for this upcoming Super Bowl?
Ooh.
And my advice is to bet on the Bengals. On the over-under, I have no opinion. I think the line of 50 I estimate the total points scored to be about 49, which is where the over-under line is. But I show that both teams are roughly evenly matched. And so getting 4 to 4.5 points on the Bengals, I think is fantastic. Now, I should allow a little bit for the Rams home field advantage, but I don't think that's worth anywhere close to the usual 3 points. I think in this scenario, it's only worth about 1. So I absolutely say that Cincinnati is a good bet. Of course, I don't promise they're going to win. I just think that it has a decent advantage to it. So, of course, bet in moderation. And, am I going to bet tons of thousands of dollars on this? No. But I definitely, I already have bet 500 on it, and I probably will bet a little bit more.
Okay. So basically, if anyone takes your advice, it's at their own risk, and don't come
Absolutely.
don't come crawling back with
a buy me a beer.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
All right. What do you got for me?
Our next trivia question for the Lunar New Year is, what is the ulterior name, or what is the other name that the Lunar New Year is called? It's called 2 names. So Lunar New Year is one of the names, and then it's called another name. So if you guys know, put it in the chat and we will see if you guys are right. And until then, we do have a gambling question from a viewer, and they say, is there any advantage to playing a multi-hand video poker, JOB, over single play?
Nope.
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 Okay.
As long as the pay table is the same, the odds are exactly the same. Personally, I like the multiplay games better, but the odds and the strategy are exactly the same.
Okay, so what really matters is the pay table and what they pay.
That's right.
Fantastic. Do you want another question, or should we see if people answered the trivia question?
Let's give people a little more time, and why don't you ask me another one?
Okay. So Vince, real quick, says hi. Hi, Vince.
Hi, Vince.
And then next is a question from Kentil, or an update. Hi, an update on an answer to a question I previously asked you about triple double video poker. I was playing 5-hand nickel, triple double
bonus.
Yep. And I got dealt aces with the kicker, and it auto held the cards for me. Let's see if they have anything else. And that's pretty much all it is. So it's just basically a statement, not a question.
It's a statement. I'm not sure what to say about it. I will say that with internet casinos, a lot of them have an auto hold feature, and they tend to be terrible. A lot of them are just programmed to hold any pat hand. So it might have you holding a high pair when you have 4 to a royal. So be especially distrustful of auto holds on internet casinos. And I don't see it. I almost never see it in land-based casinos.
Okay.
Well, but before I forget, in the last show, somebody asked about Casino War, and I said it was a dead game. And then that evening, I had to go to the Cosmopolitan, and they had it there. I felt like such an idiot. So my apologies to everyone who watched the show last time. I was wrong about Casino War. You can still find it at least at the Cosmopolitan.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, should we see if anyone has any answers to the trivia?
Yeah, and I don't have an answer to that one, so
okay.
Let's see what other people say.
Ooh, we do have a couple correct answers. Let's see who got it first. The person who got it first was Wild Foodie Tours. It is called the Spring Festival. That is absolutely correct.
I should have got that.
Ah.
Even though it's really not that close to the spring yet. But that is the reason they celebrate it, is to celebrate the spring, maybe the coming of the spring.
Yeah, isn't it supposed to be held at the end of the winter or something? Near the end of the winter?
Well, obviously Chinese New Year was just on February 2nd.
Yeah, but they created this how many years ago, when winter was still ended in, February and March.
Yeah, maybe. And I was wrong. This year, Chinese New Year was on February 1st.
That was one of my trivia questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh, so, what is our next football trivia?
Okay. You know how they identify they write down the Super Bowl in Roman numerals?
Okay.
However, there was one year they didn't do that. Which Super Bowl was it?
Okay. So,
For example, this coming one is Super Bowl 56, so they would write LVI. But there was one year they dispensed with the Roman numerals, much to my pleasure. I am not big on Roman numerals.
only 1 year?
Only 1 year.
That stinks. And then they went back to it?
Yep.
They're like, we need this. I can't live without
It wasn't
you.
so much that they changed their mind and changed it back, but if you know which one was skipped, you probably would know why.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So if you guys know the answer to that, put it in the chat. And while we're waiting for people to answer that, we have another gambling question. And this one is from Little Joe. I was reading a book on Stupak, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on his double exposure blackjack or crapless craps.
I am not a big fan of John Stupak. I thought he was kind of how shall I put it? He was kind of a dishonest salesman. I think that he played tricks on people. Now, in the case of double exposure, how shall I put this? He had a big marquee that said double exposure, dealer exposes both face cards. But you go in there and you find out all these rules that cut the dealer's way, like the dealer winning on ties. And he did a similar thing where he said our blackjack games are dealt to the bottom of the deck, which was probably true. And I don't remember what rules cut the dealer's way, but I'm sure there were a lot of them. But what really bothered me is if you ever read like an old Playboy from the 70s, there was always an advertisement for the Vegas world. And he said, we are selling $1,000 Vegas vacations for $400 or $299 or whatever it was. And he would list out all the stuff that you got that added up to $1,000. But a lot of it was in promotional slot machine play. And you had to do it on specially designated machines that probably only paid out like 10% or something like that. And the Hooters did this too, by the way. I think that it's dishonest to claim that you're giving out like a certain value of slot machine play if it must be played on promotional machines that hardly pay back anything. But it was allowed. And but nevertheless, a lot of advantage players still abused that promotion over and over, and good for them, because I always like it when the cheater gets cheated, basically. So yeah, I was not a big fan of Stupak, to be honest with you. And about crapless craps, yeah, I know that came out there, and crapless craps is not as good of a value as regular craps. Now, he's perfectly allowed to offer these games, but and I don't remember how he promoted crapless craps, but yeah, that's about as far as I can take that one.
The only thing I remember about crapless craps was crap dealers complaining about it.
What didn't they like about it?
I don't remember specifically. I just remember that it was one of those things where it's like, oh God, I got to deal this game type of a thing. Like I can't stand that game. There's a couple games like that. I know Let It Ride was one of those games where they would always say, oh God, I have to deal Let It Die today. Kill me now.
Yeah, crapless craps is, by the way, is doing well. I keep seeing more and more tables of that.
Okay.
When I went to Detroit and Ohio a few years ago, crapless craps was really popular there. Anyway, that's about as far as I can take that one.
Okay.
How about the number of the Super Bowl that did not use Roman numerals?
Was it the very first year, Super Bowl one?
No.
Not that. Okay, what about 50? Hey, Gillian.
Yes, it was Super Bowl 50 because the number for 50 is just an L. So it would have looked like Super Bowl L. And I don't know. Somehow that just might confuse people. So they just called that one Super Bowl 50.
Gilliam got it first, so he was the top answer winner, and followed by Mo the Cat. And Yes Notes got it as well.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, give us a Chinese New Year question, Heather.
Okay, so our next Chinese New Year was the one that you sort of gave away on the last one, so we'll skip that one. This year, what animal represents this year? So if you know what year of, whatever it is, if you know the answer, put it in the chat. There are typically 12 animals represented in the zodiac calendar, and every year it represents an animal. So what year is this year? And Mike, what year were you born? What animal were you?
I am a snake.
You're a snake, really?
Born in 65.
Oh, cool. Wow. I'm a rooster. Does that mean the snake kills the rooster?
I think a snake would win in a fight. I'm going to look up about what our personality types are. Not that I believe in this stuff, but just for fun.
Well, that's better than where I'm going. I'm going like whose snake is bigger type of a thing. You got the cock and you got the snake. Which one's bigger? That's where I'm going.
I'm not going to follow you there.
No, don't, please. So if you guys also too, just curious, if you know your birth year, what animal you are for your birth year, put that in the chat because I'm just curious about that. And while we are waiting for people to answer that, let's do another question. Yes, you are right, Mike. It is that. You are absolutely right. Mike got it. Mike got the answer. So our next one. Okay, now we already answered this, so this is going to be an easy one to answer because we've already answered this. Hi, folks. Can I use my phone at the craps table? How could I possibly cheat there?
I can't see how it would be helpful in craps, but it would be helpful in baccarat or any and blackjack too, if you used it to count the cards.
Yeah. Yeah. With craps. Yeah, I can't think of any way.
Okay.
But I know that when they're doing the rule applies to all the games, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. By the way, so here's what they say about wait, I'm looking at tigers. What did you say? You're a rooster, right, Heather?
I'm a rooster.
Okay. Let's see what it says about roosters. Right, here we go, rooster. The rooster is the 10th of the zodiac animals, blah, 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 blah. Roosters are complex people who seem strong, but deep down need validation from loved ones.
Validate me. Well, that's typically the definition of a YouTuber, right? Oh, God, that's hilarious. What does it say for you?
Okay. Fear of the snake. Snakes have a deep and complex mind, but if they love with their entire heart. Aww. Snakes usually have a negative diction and are symbols of witchcraft. Snakes have a deep and complex mind, but I don't really think that describes me very well. I don't want to self-analyze myself too much, but no, but yeah, I don't think that's me. But I do think I was just looking at the tiger because I clicked on it accidentally, and I think that one describes me rather well. If I can get back there.
Yeah, let's hear what the tiger says. And while we're talking about the tiger, the answer to the trivia question for what is the animal for this year is the tiger. And Wild Foodie Tours got it. Woo! Followed by, actually, a lot of you guys got it. Ralph, Technics, lots of people.
Okay.
Bill Joe says keep going.
So if you're born this year or any year in the 12-year cycle, it says tigers are courageous and active people who love a good challenge and adventure in life. Like the eponymous zodiac animal, people born in the years of the tiger are vigorous and ambitious, daring and courageous, enthusiastic and generous, self-confident with a sense of justice and a commitment to help others for the greater good. So if I may toot my own horn a little bit, I think that describes me rather well.
So you technically should have been born in the year of the tiger and not the year of the snake.
Yeah, I think so. I think I was born either too early or too late. But of course, I don't believe in any of this stuff anyway, so who cares?
Gillimer, I think that's Gillimay. They want to see your soft side, basically. They're really looking forward to you getting in touch with your soft side.
Maybe over a few beers, maybe you'll see my soft side. But
okay, I am on my way over there to get you some beers.
Yeah, my icy cold side.
one of these live streams will just have like a martini or a glass of wine or shots of tequila or something.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe we'll do that sometime where I take a drink every so often. And
oh my God, we'll play a drinking game.
I've never known you to be a big drinker, Heather.
Oh, I'm not either. Don't worry.
All right. I think it's my turn to ask a question.
Yep.
Okay. Which one should I ask? Super Bowl. Let me get my Roman numerals right. Super Bowl 44 beat out what was previously the most watched show on television in history, and it was not another Super Bowl. Okay. So in other words, previously to Super Bowl 44, there was a particular show that had the distinction of having the largest television audience ever, and then the Super Bowl beat it. Okay. So what was that TV show?
So if you guys know, put it in the chat and we will see if your answer is correct. And until then, we are going to go to a casino question. But first, I put an answer in the private chat. Would you do me a favor and let me know if I'm right? I think I remember this.
No.
I'm wrong? Oh, I'm glad I didn't say it out loud.
What you put was way after Super Bowl 44.
Okay. Okay, so our next casino question comes from Ralph. In the UK, online casinos have to give the percentage RTP for slots. Why is this not available in the USA?
That is a great question. And it's not just online casinos. When I was in London, every single slot machine that I looked at had either a sticker on it that said the RTP or it was somewhere in the help screens. And to that, I say bravo to the UK. Hail to the Queen. I love that law. I absolutely think that is proper regulation. And, here in Nevada and most of the United States, if there's any exception, let me know. There's no such consumer protection where the player has the right to know what the RTP is of a slot machine. Here in Nevada, they have to be at least 75%. But most of them are well above that anyway. So, so you asked why. It really goes to just kind of, I guess, philosophy of government in general, where I don't think that there's as much of a desire for regulation in the U.S. as there is in the UK. And furthermore, I think that slot machine players should push for this, but I have never met one that seemed to care, that they just play what they like. And what does RTP stand for? I have no idea. I just want to play. So that's about as far as I can take that one.
Yeah, that's about the feeling I get from them. It's like all their activism time goes directly into gambling, so there is no activism time. Like,
I try to convert slot machine players to video poker, but I don't know that I've converted a single person yet. Slot players are just slot players.
One day.
Maybe one day I'll have a convert.
Okay, so we have a couple answers.
Yes, I see them.
So is it MASH?
Yes, it was the last episode of MASH. And I remember this came out when I was in high school, and it was the talk of everybody the next morning. Everyone was, did you see MASH? Did you see the final MASH? Did you see the finale? Blah, 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 blah. And then it was a long conversation. And some people thought it was too overly sentimental, but I loved it. I thought it was one of the best final episodes ever. And I have watched it over and over many times. It's one of those things that if I see it flipping through the channel, I will stay there till it's done. So
are they still doing replays of MASH? Are they still airing those?
The era of replaying old TV shows is kind of you don't see it as much anymore. So yeah, to be honest, I haven't flipped through a MASH in a long time. One of these days, I would love to just go through every single episode of MASH in order. But I love that show, and I love the finale. And by the way, another finale that I loved was Mad Men. That finale was brilliant and almost melted my heart. Not quite, but almost.
Okay, well, if we're talking about finales and TV shows, I have to put my 2 cents in.
Yes.
Have you seen The Strain?
No.
That was actually really good, and they ended it very well. And I'm like, oh my God, that was actually a very satisfying TV series. If you want to see The Strain, it's basically zombies mixed with vampires, and it's the end of the world type of a thing, but it's so good. So good.
I'll have to check that out.
Oh, please do. Let me know what you think about it. I'd love to know your opinion.
So zombies and vampires?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, zombie vampire mix.
I hope the vampires won. Don't give anything away.
Spoilers. Okay, so should we do our next trivia question?
Yes, give us a Chinese New Year one.
Okay, so what household activities are you not supposed to do during the Chinese New Year? If you get any of them, then it counts. There's multiple, but there are certain household activities you do not do during the Chinese New Year. What are they?
Let me think.
So if you know the answer, put that in the chat. And while we're waiting for everyone to put in an answer, our next gambling question comes from Source King. Are you supposed to split tens? I think basic strategy says no, but I listen to various gambling podcasts and I get the impression that people who play professionally split tens. And Mike, you are right about your answer to the trivia question.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. So do you split tens? What do you do?
Okay. The basic strategy or recreational player should never split tens. Right. The only time you might split tens is if you're card counting and the dealer's showing a 5 or a 6 and the count is huge, then mathematically speaking, you should split. However, splitting tens throws off a red flag that this guy is either a card counter or an idiot. And you don't want them to wonder that. So I think that a card counter that split tens is not looking at it doesn't have like a long vision. Sometimes you have to make it mathematically incorrect play in the interest of avoiding heat. Another situation where you might split tens and do a lot of crazy stuff is in blackjack tournaments. So if you are behind and it's the last hand or close to the last hand, and you and let's say there's a limit to how much you can bet, it might be that you have to split tens. It might be that that's the only way to win. Yeah. But yeah, contrary to the movie, no, that was a different situation. But yeah, the recreational player should never split tens.
No, definitely not. Okay, so let's see if anyone has the answer to the trivia question. And by the way, you said all of that so wonderfully. I have absolutely nothing to add to it except stories of people actually splitting tens.
Mm-hmm.
I had one, okay, just one story. And it's not splitting tens. I had a woman hit on a 20 and get an ace for 21.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would pain me to watch. I must admit, I get a sense of schadenfreude when people make stupid plays that I want them to lose. It's true. What can I say? I don't want to lie to you. So, sometimes it's better to be lucky than right.
That's true.
Like that situation.
That's very true. Okay, so we do have a winner to the trivia question. Wild Foodie Tours says sweep. He is absolutely correct. You never sweep during the Chinese Lunar New Year. A few other things you don't do. PJ Strong says buy shoes. I like that. A few other things you don't do during the Chinese New Year, besides sweeping, is washing, taking out the garbage, washing your hair, or washing your clothes. The reason why is because you don't want to wash or sweep away your fortune for the year. So that's why you don't do it during the Lunar New Year. It symbolizes good luck leaving the garbage inside the house. Imagine that.
Yeah, with the sweeping, it's like sweeping out the good luck. Like,
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
and another thing somebody told me is I thought that pairs were bad luck to give people on Chinese New Year, but this person told me that no, you can give pairs, but as long as you don't cut them, because the word for pair in Chinese is similar to the word for like cut or divide, and you don't want to like split up the family. So as long as you don't cut the pair, then it's okay.
I love how you're giving out the answers to my trivia questions before I ask them.
Sorry.
You're good. So what is the next football trivia question for people?
Okay. What was the lowest scoring Super Bowl in Super Bowl history?
Oh, that's interesting.
And you can either give me the teams, the exact score, the number of the Super Bowl, just give me anything.
Okay, so if you guys know the answer to that question, put it in the chat and we will see if you guys are correct. And then while we're waiting, our next gambling question comes from Paul, who says, a slot YouTuber claimed you improve the house edge by 3% when you max the volume. Has this ever been true on any machine? And side question, why do many machines seem to have the volume so low or muted?
The first question is, the volume of the machine has absolutely nothing to do with the RTP. Absolutely nothing. I totally deny that. But why did they set the volume the way they do? You would have to ask a slot manager that. I prefer kind of somewhere in the middle myself, but yeah, the second part, to be honest, I really don't know.
Okay. Should we do another question since we answered that so fast?
Okay. By the way, I think another thing I'd like to add to these shows is maybe like my favorite threads at Wizard of Vegas in the Wizard of Vegas forum.
Okay.
So right now, my two favorites is one of them is on the slot machine Cashman Bingo. And this is a slot machine that can have a player advantage. And the way it works is that sometimes the player will get a coin on the reels, and that coin will float up to a bingo card in the same position. It's a 5x5 screen. And as soon as you cover a full line, then you will win all of the coins on that line. So if the previous player left the game with a lot of coins, and preferably big coins, then it can be an advantage play. So there's a discussion about how the game works and what kind of a screen should you require before you play.
Okay.
And I've been analyzing this game. I'm going to make a video of it soon. So there's a good discussion there. And there's another one that if you guys, this book here is one of the most sought after books in gambling. It's Beyond Counting Exhibit CAA by James Grosjean. On eBay, it goes for like $2,000. But if you look at the glossary, under magic numbers, you can see three sets of numbers and letters. And that's all it says, magic numbers. And then the Las Vegas Advisor website has a thing called the question of the day. And one person asked a long time ago, what are these magic numbers? And James Grosjean himself answered it. And he said, he gave some kind of snarky answer, but he did throw out two more of them. So there are 5 known magic numbers, and a forum member on my website has found, shall we say, a commonality to them. And I think that he has cracked what these numbers mean. It might just be coincidental, but I think this could be huge if it's verified that he's right. I have wondered about these magic numbers for years. I've made absolutely no progress. So this is something I personally find very interesting, as well as some other people on the forum. So that is my other recommended thread at the Wizard of Vegas forum.
Sounds good. And I think we've had enough time pass that we could see if anyone has answered the trivia question.
Okay.
So was it the Rams and Patriots 10-3?
It was not 10-3, but it was that Super Bowl, the Rams against the Patriots.
Patriots, Rams 13-10?
That was not the score either.
Nope, that wasn't it.
It was, I see Vince got it right. Vince is right at 13-3. So 16 total points.
Woo! Good job, Vince. Nice.
Good job, Vince. Absolutely. I'll ask my next one right now. What's the opposite? What was the highest scoring Super Bowl in Super Bowl history?
Okay, so if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat.
Wait a minute. Let me rephrase.
Okay.
What was the highest scoring total by a single team in Super Bowl history?
Okay.
Yep.
So there you go. Put your answer in the chat, and we will see if anyone knows the answer to that trivia question. While we are waiting, our next gambling question comes from Paul. Between sports bettors, card counters, poker, and advantage players, which of these players are most likely to earn a living from their craft?
Sports bettors, card counters, poker, and advantage players. That's a tough question. I think that there are a lot of struggling people in all 4 of those groups. And when you say just advantage players, I take it you mean people that will do any form of advantage play that comes their way. I really don't think it's card counters. I really think it's tough to make money there. Poker, I also think it's tough. I think in poker, I know a lot of people who kind of scrape by at it, but all these people seem to be pretty poor to me. I'm going to go with your jack of all trades advantage players. And if I were a full-time advantage player, that's what I would do. I would look for the obscure stuff that isn't in books, and this kind of stuff that tends to be short-lived, and it's usually going after promotions.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
Just to add a little 2 cents to that, when I was a dealer dealing in the casinos, we would have professional gamblers on our tables a lot. We would see these people every single day, and it's not as glamorous as people think. Mike's absolutely correct. Most of the time they're struggling. Usually it's like, oh, I just lost my mortgage for the month and I have to pay my rent, but I'm on this like downward spiral on gambling and I just can't seem to win a hand, but I have all these bills to pay. And it's really stressful. It's a very, very stressful way to make a living.
And I'm sure that they say I'm this great advantage player, but I'm just having this terrible luck.
Yeah, always.
You know,
it's not me.
Right. It's not my fault. It's this terrible luck. To me, I mean, I don't want to make a general statement, but when I hear that, I think to myself, this person probably just isn't that good, and they probably are just having average luck. And you know, everyone looks for. It's always convenient to have somebody or something to blame for everything in life, but sometimes I have more of a Buddhist outlook that you have to accept the bad things and try to grow stronger from them, try to learn from them, try to find the benefit. And even if it's something like cancer that there's hard to find anything positive to say about it, you still just have to accept it. You know, like, I have cancer. What am I going to do now? That's my philosophy.
If you can't change it, you can't change it.
Yep.
Okay, so we have answers to trivia questions. Was it the 49ers?
Absolutely. Yay. Who gets the point?
Good job. Yay.
Yes, it was the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 24 when they scored 55 points against I believe it was the Denver Broncos.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Give
us the Chinese New Year trivia, Heather.
I don't know if I have another one. I think the other two that I had, you already gave away.
Okay. Well, here's one. What might you give children for Chinese New Year as a gift?
Okay, that's a good one. I like that one. So if you guys know the answer to that, put that in the chat and we will see if anyone can get that correct answer. But while we are waiting, we have another question from one of the viewers, Wild Foodie Tours. If playing full pay jacks or better or bonus poker, what bankroll do you need to play indefinitely to only lose the long-term expected loss of 0.54% and 0.84%? For GOB and BP, respectively?
That's a good question. It's the kind of thing that I don't know the answer to off the top of my head, but and maybe I'll make an Ask the Wizard question out of this. But the rule of thumb with video poker is if you're going to only play positive games, which is very difficult to do anymore, that you should have a bankroll equal to 3 to 5 royals. So, for example, if a royal pays $4,000, then you should have a bankroll of $12,000 to $20,000. Yeah, but of course, it's going to be less for jacks or better than bonus poker because that house advantage is lower. But maybe after this show, I will try to answer that and yeah, look for that in my next Ask the Wizard column.
Okay.
Which I'm overdue to write.
Fantastic. By the way, I love your shirt.
Thank you. Let me show it in case the whole audience can't see it.
Oh, big picture. Big picture.
Live every day like it's Pi Day.
I love that.
That's another thing I totally agree with. And because I think people should have a love of math every day, not just March 14th.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Okay, so we have answers to your trivia question. Wild Foodie Tours says red envelopes.
And what should be in the red envelopes?
Cautious Optimist says, is it lucky money?
Okay, I'll let you guys share the point. You're supposed to give red envelopes that have money inside.
Vince got both of those answers, by the way.
Okay. And somebody asked me recently, at what age do you stop doing this? I think the rule of thumb is that as soon as the person is fully financially independent, then you quit giving them the red envelopes. But if it's, say, a college student who's still being supported by their parents, yeah, they're probably still going to get the red envelopes. And furthermore, I think some Chinese also give them to elderly people.
Oh, okay.
So once I think that you're being supported again because you're so old, then you might get them again.
Okay. My question is, if you're 45 years old and you're living in your parents' basement, do you still get a red envelope?
Yep.
So therefore, it's no longer a present. It's more of like they're dissing you.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I were 45 and living in my mother's basement, not that she has a basement, I would be embarrassed to get a red envelope. It would be like saying, grow up, man.
Yeah, right. Like this is not a compliment. This isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, after I graduated from college, I spent like 6 months living in my parents' house, and it was embarrassing. I mean, like you don't even like try to approach girls, because if they find out that you live in your parents' house, back then in the 80s and early 90s, that was a total point of shame. I hear now that it's not as big of a deal.
No, everybody does. Like I know several people who are in their 40s who still live with their parents, and it's perfectly acceptable. Like that's just so normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a millennial thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's ask one more Super Bowl question.
Okay.
Okay. What's a good one? There's so many I could choose from. Which Super Bowl had the infamous wardrobe malfunction?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's so rare.
I'll let you describe it after we get some answers.
Okay. So you guys put that in the chat because I know you guys know what he's talking about. And we will get to the answers here in just a quick question or quick minute. I can say that. Our next question for Mike, while we were waiting for people to answer that, comes from Douglas. Mike, can you please talk about making a pass line bet after the point has already been established? Do all or most casinos allow you to do this?
They allow it, but it's really foolish because the advantage with the pass line bet is in that come out roll. You have an 8 in 36 chance of winning and only a 4 in 36 chance of losing. So you get a lot of equity in that come out roll. So to give that up for free is just foolish. That's a pretty easy answer. And yes, they do allow it because casinos are happy when you make stupid bets.
Oh yeah, they love that.
Yep.
That's their favorite.
Yep. They should just like write a great big S on your forehead for sucker if you do that.
Loser. Okay, so we do have answers to your trivia question. Vince says, was it number 38 with Janet Jackson?
Yes, it was.
Yay.
Anyone remember which two teams played in that Super Bowl?
I think people are only remembering that it was Justin Timberlake that started it.
Yep.
He caused
I think people remember that more than the Super Bowl itself.
I think so. I think you're right. Do we have any more trivia for today? Should we ask any more?
Well, I see that we're just out of time. But I'm probably going to make a newsletter with Super Bowl trivia. Probably not the next one, but the one after that.
Okay.
The newsletter that came out today, I talked about why I recommend betting on the Bengals. And in the next one, I'm probably going to go over some proposition bets. But the one after that, maybe I'll ask some Super Bowl trivia.
And when is Super Bowl? Isn't it the first week of February?
It's always in early February, and in this year it falls on February 13th.
Oh, okay. So we still have a week away.
Yep, more than a week. The proposition bets still haven't come out yet, so I'm looking forward to that. And I can't think of anything else to say.
Do you want to do one more question, or should we tell people when the next time they could see us is?
Only if it's a quick question.
Okay, question is from Vince. And Vince says, have you guys heard of Blackjack Attack?
I haven't.
I haven't
Have you,
either.
Heather?
Nope. That was pretty quick then.
In fact, I have both editions of it.
Oh, you do?
Where is it?
It was a blackjack game offered for approximately a week before they removed it from the casino. Ooh,
Yeah, I have a book called Blackjack Attack here, and I really need to put my books in alphabetical order one of these days. Yeah, it's a book by Don Schlesinger, and it has a lot of kind of esoteric information about blackjack, and now I'm really getting frustrated. Where is it?
While Mike is looking for that, we usually do a live stream every 2 weeks. The sooner you guys get your questions in, the sooner we can answer them. Sometimes we're not able to get to some of the later questions. So definitely make sure that you get your questions in early for sure. If you have any recommendations for trivia, let us know in the chat as well. I see that Vince loves your priest trivia. He wants you to bring back your priest trivia. Ooh, let's get full size. There we go.
I think this one's autographed too.
Ooh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Don Schlesinger is the greatest guy. I can't say that this book is going to be helpful to most blackjack players, but if you really love like the math of blackjack, then there's nothing else like it.
Fantastic.
But Blackjack Attack, the casino game, let me check on my website because it sounds vaguely familiar.
To see. I thought we saw something like that at Cutting Edge. I was trying to think if that was like one of our Cutting Edge games because it sounds familiar too.
Blackjack Burnout, Blackjack Challenge, Blackjack Party, Blackjack Plus, Blackjack Switch, Blackjack Exchange. But I do not see a Blackjack Attack. Yeah, sorry, Vince. I did see your comment about bringing back Father Michael. He will return. I'm not sure when, but yeah, he's been asking to come back on. So
hopefully he could come back before Halloween. I know he's definitely a favorite of ours on Halloween.
Maybe he'll come back around Easter.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
I'm sure he will challenge us with Holy Week trivia.
There we go. Perfect. So speaking of which, when is the next time we could see another live chat AMA from Mike Shackelford?
How about February 17th?
Sounds good. So 2 weeks from now, February 17th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please join us. Again, the sooner you guys get your questions in, the sooner we will be able to answer them, as well as you have more of a chance of us answering your question if you get it in sooner.
Yep. So thank you, everyone, for participating. And thanks, Heather, for producing this.
I always have fun. It's such a pleasure seeing you. I always love knowing like what mountain you've climbed this week. So
yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
So
yeah,
so I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Okay,
have a great one. I'm so jealous you could do that. Bye.